Hey guys, welcome back. We are on week 3, day 2 of our 30-day LSIT challenge. Today we're going to step it back one notch and try for 3 minutes total time of prep on our blocks. So yesterday we did 3.5, so we're going to give our bodies just a little bit of rest today and knock that down from 7 repetitions of 30 seconds down to 6. So go ahead and hop into something comfy and join me on your mat, and we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to take a moment here to stretch my wrists out, pressing down into the mat, leaning back, putting a little bit of weight on my fingertips, pressing down into the mat, flipping my palms up to the ceiling and doing the same thing. Just giving them a little bit of weight, maybe lifting up some, engaging the forearms. Getting our blood flowing, reminding our hands and our fingers and our forearms that they're doing the work in these LSITs. We're not dumping it into our wrists. Rolling the wrist out, give them a little massage. And then when you're ready, get your block set up, one on either hip. And we'll start round 1, 30-second hold in our prep position. So we're pressing down on the blocks, pulling the hips back, engaging the lats between the shoulder blades and the back, feeling the strongest engagement in our core and our transverse abdominis. You should feel this between your rib cage on the bottom and your pelvis. The TVA wraps around us like a weight belt, so you'll feel that engagement right in your tummy, almost like somebody is pressing on your stomach. And release. There's one. So when I talk about where we feel our TVA in that position, between the bottom of our rib cage and the top of our pelvis. So if you feel here, you can poke. Some of us have to poke harder than others. That's okay. Don't judge yourself. Just feel where your ribs are. So your rib cage starts up here, and then it goes a little bit lower. You can feel all along it right here. And then your pelvis, you can feel your hip bones that stick out here. It's a part of your pelvis. And there's a bowl right here. So the pelvis is shaped almost like a bowl or a cup, and so it kind of goes around, and there are muscles that attach to it that hold your top and your bottom of your body together, and one of those is the transverse abdominis. So right here along the bottom of your rib cage and the top of your pelvis, this place inside is filled with your transverse abdominis muscle. So it connects right here underneath your belly button under the rectus abdominis, which is where you would develop a six-pack if you ever had one. I haven't ever had a six-pack. And then it wraps all the way around here, connecting along your ribs on the top and your pelvis on the bottom. And so it's pulling us in. So when you're pulling those hips back, you're going to feel that engagement right along here. And you may even notice that your tummy sticks out a little bit if you're to look down while you're doing this exercise, and it sucks in right here on the sides, and it protrudes a little bit here in the front. So that's your TVA pulling here, underneath, and then your rectus abdominis, which is sitting on top, protrudes a little bit more because your TVA is sucking in. It's important to understand what our body's doing. It kind of helps us visualize, and the more that you can connect what's in your mind to what's going on with your body, the more effective your exercises are going to become. So when you're ready, let's go for round 2. Pressing down, pulling the hips back. You can close the eyes and focus on engagement. Picture your TVA as a tubular muscle wrapping you up like a weight belt. Deep breaths here, feeling the body start to tremble. It's our prana, life force, waking up, bringing oxygen to all of our muscles. Almost there. And release. There's 2. Let's go ahead and come to a cross-legged seat and give our sides a little stretching. I've been doing a lot of TVA work, so have you, so let's stretch it out a little bit. You can cross your feet, you can bring your soles of your feet together if you'd like. You can sit in lotus, whatever you prefer, yogi's choice, wherever you're comfortable here. And then place your left hand on the mat beside you, and we're just going to inhale and reach our right arm over, giving our right side body a nice stretch there. So think about opening the chest up towards the ceiling rather than hunching forward in this position. If you hunch forward, you'll feel some stretching in the lower back muscles, but we're trying to access the side body, the transverse abdominis, and stretch that out. That's what's working hard for us. So rotate your chest up towards the ceiling, stretching up and over with the right hand, and then come back down on your exhale, and we're going to take it to the other side. So right hand plants in the mat, left arm comes up with an inhale, and we stretch over to the right side of the room, opening up our left side body, remembering to shine our heart up towards the ceiling. You don't have to turn your head really far here. Keep the tension out of your neck. Wiggle and wobble it if you need to. Feeling a nice deep stretch along our left side body, opening up that transverse abdominis, giving it a little rest break. It's been supporting us, doing a lot of work for us the last few weeks. Oh, and then exhale and bring it back down. Shake it out, and let's go to our third repetition. Getting reorganized over here, moving my blocks back in. Sitting up nice and tall, wiggling the toes a little bit. You can roll your wrists out, and starting on round 3. Pressing down into our blocks, pulling the hips back. Focus on pressing down through the fingers, taking that weight out of the shoulders. Make sure if you have a video camera or your phone or a mirror or whatever, make sure that when you check and look, your hips are back here behind your arms. That's going to make sure that we're engaging the transverse abdominis and not just relying on our shoulders to muscle into this position. Our shoulders are already likely extremely strong, and they don't really need the help. And release. Whew. Warms up quick with that. Go ahead and take a yogi's choice stretch, whatever you need here. If you want to sit back on your toes and stretch out your quadriceps. Woo, that feels good. You can come down a little bit lower. You can use blocks here to support yourself. You don't want to lean all the way back to the ground. Woo. Wiggle and wobble, it's okay. A little bit less intensity here would be putting the tops of your feet on the mat and then resting back onto your blocks or up to the ground. Getting a nice stretch right here in our quads. They're working hard too. Okay, and when you're ready, let's set back up and go into round 4. Pressing down into our blocks, shifting the hips back. Woo! Take my mat with me there. Pressing hard through our fingertips, through our first and second knuckles into the block. You can look down at your thumbs there and ask them to press harder. Sometimes looking at them helps me. Reminds them that they need to help. We can engage our lats behind our shoulders there, right in between along our spine. That'll help pull our shoulders down away from our ears. Almost there. And release. Whoo! There's 4. We're making it. We are. What's the math on that? 2/3 of the way done. My kids are starting to learn basic fractions, and so practicing. The brain gets rusty when you don't use that stuff. Just like our TVA gets a little rusty when we don't use it. Stretching out a little bit, you can turn, give it a little twist, looking back behind the shoulder, taking it to the other side, remembering to give your body the space and the time that it needs here. You don't have to do all of the repetitions rapid fire. It's not a race. It's not a contest. The only way you win is showing up for yourself, and the only way you lose is if you don't. As long as you show up, be here for yourself on your mat, you're going to make progress, you're going to have wins, and you have something to be proud of. Okay, round 5, almost there. Get readjusted here, sitting up nice and tall, pressing down into our blocks, shifting the hips back. I'm going to close my eyes here and focus on the sensation, the engagement in my TVA. Remembering to take deep breaths. If we can't take deep breaths and we start shaking too much and we must let go, that's absolutely fine. You know what your body needs. So set yourself down and continue pulling the hips back and engaging in your seated position. Or if you need to take a break early, that's okay too. Just come back to it when you're ready. Ah, and release. Almost there. One to go. Rolling the wrists out here. Wiggle your toes. Notice that you haven't painted your toenails in a long time, if you're me. I forget about them in winter. I see them every day. Giving your wrist a nice little massage here. You can practice gripping to engage our forearms here. Remind them to stay engaged and take the weight out of our wrists. And when you feel satisfied, go ahead and come back. And we've got 1 rep to go. 30 more seconds. We can do anything for 30 seconds. Pressing down, shifting the hips back. Pull back the furthest you've pulled back today. Feel that tremble, accept it. Don't be afraid of it, meet your edge. Remembering that it's not important for you to be very high off the ground. It's most important for your hips to be as far back as possible. Engage that core. Believe in yourself. We're almost there. You've got it. And release. Great work. Thanks again for joining me here today. I really appreciate you joining in this journey with me. It's a wonderful thing for me to look forward to every day, having somebody to be here on the mat with me. It's very comforting. We can all achieve so much more together than we can on our own. So I appreciate you being the other people in my community. Thank you so much for showing up for yourself today. I'm so proud of all of the work that you have done. So proud of all of the accomplishments, all of the little wins, the lift ups, the pushing, and just showing up and working through it. It's an amazing, incredible thing to be proud of, to show up and do hard work. It can be so scary. And so I'm proud of you for showing up and trying something difficult and doing something new. And I will see you tomorrow for week 3, day 3.